myself and then Bill Weissman, who's been our grant writer and now project director, we're naming our temporary name for this project, which is called the Woodburn Opportunity Center. And I'll just give you kind of a brief history of how we got to this point. So Emmanuel Lutheran Church in about 2005 purchased 8 acres out just south of Walmart at the corner of Evergreen and Linfield. And the idea was in 2005, we were in a growth mode. We wanted a one-level facility that was adaptive to our senior population. And so we purchased the property, which was just under $500,000 at that point. And we paid it off in 3.5 years, which was pretty miraculous for our congregation. Well, in 2008 through 2011, I don't have to tell you guys, with a financial crash and then challenges and changes within Emmanuel, things shifted. And so during that time, I became the building team chair, and I had been on the project for a long time. And we were trying to figure out, okay, now what are we going to do with this 8 acres? So we tried to build a 2-acre park. There's a 2-acre wetland on it, thinking, okay, we can, keep this project rolling, but we weren't able to get funding for that park space. So in 2015 through 2018, we did a season of listening. And we also were awarded $85,000 of grant money from 3 major trusts, Oregon Community Foundation, Ford Family Trust, and Meyer Memorial Trust. And that is what paid for the feasibility study. So part of the season of listening was hosting a number of meetings of community groups and members and listening to what does Woodburn need. And from those conversations is what I'm going to share with you tonight. So it really, as we listened of what Woodburn needed, and we did a number of site visits, it really is a hybrid model that would be unique to Woodburn. And I don't know of any other church organization that has created this type of a project, but it would be a combination of what Wellsprings was, of a community gathering space with a cafe, with a gathering space for enough as large as 500 people, as well as rooms that can be broken down to smaller groups. Also similar to Broadway Commons in Salem, again, gathering spaces, meeting rooms. And then lastly, the Dallas Resource Center, which is in Polk County, and they handle intake for all kinds of social service needs. So they've created a very simplified model. So a client who's in need would come in, they would fill out at a kiosk some information that would be shared with other social service agencies to help clients, help community members. So right before COVID happened, early in March of 2020, our church voted at a 90% positive vote to move forward with the project, meaning we own the 8 acres free and clear. We also own our current property, which is the church, as well as a parsonage / Little Lambs preschool that we would cash in at the appropriate time and sell the property and move forward with this. So we've had both of those assets valuated, and they're just around $2 million, the current vacant property and then our current property. So, and then middle of last summer, we had a team, Bill Weissman and then CASA of Oregon completed our feasibility study. So what this looks like, and I'll backtrack a bit, because Love Inc., when we started this process, they were going to kind of become the anchor tenant. Well, in the middle of the project, they were offered the grant that the city of Woodburn had applied for, which provided them a building. And so they didn't feel like they could say yes to both projects. And so they're on 214, that would be the Love Inc. Cascade campus. And the Woodburn Opportunity Center would be the Evergreen campus, or a 2-campus model that would serve North Marion County, serving community needs. And so because they will likely run out quickly, even though they're in a much larger space than they were on Hardcastle. So that's part of the concept, is a 2-campus concept. And we've gone as far as having a vision, again, of a place that's kind of a one-stop shop for servicing social service needs, because truly there isn't a lot of presence for helping people who are in need. And if it is, it's kind of all over the place in Woodburn. So having a more centralized place to assist community members. So Love Inc., being phase 1, is there to meet urgent needs. They have workspaces for service providers, again, in that one-stop area. And then we would have the Evergreen campus, which would provide additional resources, event space, training rooms, meeting rooms, classrooms, gathering space, both indoor and out. And this is kind of a list of some of the partners. So obviously Love Inc., Mid-Willamette Valley Community Action is the largest one. Family Building Blocks is another one. And then there's a number of other supporting organizations that many are actively looking for space to rent, such as the Marion County Health Department is looking for space. The Chamber, we've been in conversations with them of having like a business center that would serve business needs. So that's kind of part of that. So what we're doing and what we've been doing is having meetings like tonight to let community members know about what we're doing. So our goals are to complete the funding and support the current project, communicate and inform people about this project. And I would just say we are obviously well aware that the city of Woodburn has a community space too, but it's very different in its service. The Woodburn one would be down by the Aquatic Center, and it's more of an active recreation model. This is more social service focused. And we have spoken with previous mayor Kathy Figley, as well as current mayor Eric Swenson, about these projects, and realizing that Woodburn is going to be going through yet another bigger growth mode, and Woodburn really needs both spaces. So we're advocating for both spaces to come to fruition. We also want the space to look like Woodburn, so it would be multicultural in nature, with community leadership and champions that can help support this project in a number of ways. Listen, hear what, after all these times of listening, see if there's anything that we're missing. Craft a funding path, which I'll share with you. And these are, we've been working with an architect for probably 15 plus years. These are some of the architectural drawings that we have of what that might look like. So very open, kind of a Northwest modern vibe. And as I kind of cruise through the pictures, it's a 2-floor model. So, and there's really kind of 3 entry points. You'll have the community resources center. So this would be, again, social service area, the gathering space, right? Again, seating up to 500 people. Again, that could serve quinceañeras, large community. I think about DSA, chamber events, could be school events. And then on the far right wing would be more of that spiritual side of office space for our church as well as others. We currently have another church that meets at Emmanuel, and we've certainly been asking other churches that maybe they'd like to share space as well. And then we have Little Lambs Preschool on this end as well. Upstairs, again, some spaces that are designated, others not designated. There will be a rooftop courtyard, gathering space, or you can see down below, and then just undesignated office and gathering space. Down on the far, it would be the southwest corner is 2 acres of wetlands. So this would be, again, outdoor space as that neighborhood area grows, with linear trails that would connect probably to Centennial Park and some of the new Smith housing project that's going up. And so that's what that would look like. So the project goals and uses, obviously a place that's welcoming and accepting of all people, that's multilingual and multicultural with the richness of the Russian heritage. the Latinx community, and of course, you know, the history of the Anglo community members coming to Woodburn and developing the city. Intergenerational too. We're in conversations with the Woodburn School District, because there's definitely need for more after school programming, as well as our senior community. The uses again would be a new spiritual home for Emmanuel, Ponda Vida, who's currently meeting in our space, and any other church that wants to join and share space. But the big piece would be a community service model, again, that would serve community members in multiple ways. A gathering space, both indoor and out, and natural area for people to enjoy, because Centennial Park is down there, and I know that there's some parks that are being built into the new homes that are going in. Another need that's come up is a Latinx senior center, because I think there is a senior center meeting at the Methodist Church currently, but really not an opportunity for the Latinx community to feel welcome at that space. So partners, as I've mentioned already, Emmanuel, Ponda Vida, Little Lambs Preschool, and then the main ones at this point are Mid-Willamette Valley Community Action, Family Building Blocks, Love Inc. And then additional, some organizations may have some full-time space, some may have part-time space in the facility. At the current moment, the facility is at 24,000 square feet. You can see how that's kind of divided up. And we've also, through the feasibility study, which is a 96-page document, which I would be happy to share with you as well, the link to that, because we've got far more details, it's just shy of $10 million. And I'll kind of run through the funding. We obviously are in it over $2 million with our current properties. We will be looking to do a community campaign of $1 to $2 million to complete the funding. And because of the foundations that we have received grants from, we feel like there's an opportunity for us to get additional grants from that, as well as community development block grants, other grants, and then the new market tax credits. So that's kind of the breakdown for that. So moving forward requires really broad community leadership. Emmanuel is a very aging congregation, and we don't have the horsepower or the expertise to carry this type of a project. So we're looking for other community members to come alongside us and advocate and champion this project. Obviously, authentic partnerships with all the multicultural communities so that this space really reflects the richness and diversity that Woodburn has. And then developing likely a new nonprofit that would have shared power, that would oversee the Woodburn Opportunity Center, or whatever it's going to be formally named, and convening a project team that would lead the way through these next steps. This is a list of some of our champions to date, and some of them are affiliated with groups such as Family Building Blocks, Capacious, obviously, members from our church, Catholic Community Services. So a number of them that are very aware of this project and are advocates in a variety of different ways. Certainly not everybody speaking on behalf of the organization that they're affiliated with, but they are very aware of this project. So we're looking to add more people to this list, because it's really going to take a community effort to pull this together.